there's quite a few operators around the table, and I was an operator of a business that had 800 vehicles. If I wanted to get back into the industry, and I am trying to, I face a licensing fee of £500,000. But that's not where I am today. The feeding force that drives this private hire industry is the people. And those people, 70,000 of them in London, are predominantly BAME people. They're people from underrepresented groups. They've taken their money and they've worked in this industry for quite some time. I heard the lady talk about the consultation process, and I'm aware of that, and quite a few of them were aware of that. And as we said, I'm not going to rehearse it, but the actual changing of the goalposts has happened. But what you've got to look at is these people. These people are predominantly at the bottom of the food chain that work for operators and for themselves. They have gone and bought their cars, and now they've got to bin those cars. Some of them have struggled and got joint names to get finance for their vehicles. Those vehicles are now going to go on the scrap heap, no matter whatever scrappage scheme you try to talk about or implement. They haven't been consulted. As far as I'm looking at what's going forward, there hasn't been a financial impact assessment, and there hasn't been a race equality impact assessment, because if they had done that, they would have seen the damage that they're doing to predominantly 85% of the private hire drivers in London. It's not just about us and our vehicles. It is about those people. Now, you've got 2 or 3 or maybe 4,000 women, mother returners to work, that work at times when their husbands come home inside those businesses. And when I say women, I say people that identify as women. They work in those businesses. What do they do? What do they do? There's a supply chain around this. And it's not just to sit here and to talk about the ULEZ, the fees and whatever. Yes, the operators are impacted, operators going to the wall, because I would have to pay £500,000, end of story, and my business was predominantly moving 5,000 to 6,000 disabled people every day for 29 local councils. So it is a service which is a valuable service. I say to any of you, you go to London Bridge Station and the trains are cancelled, you'd head for a private hire vehicle. That is where you will go to. Nothing else. Buses don't run. Where there's problems in London, you want to get to the airport, the trains don't run, you head for a private hire vehicle. Those people that we are now treating at the bottom of the food chain, at the end of the day, implementing and adding costs to what they do. And I'll give you this. The last government administration, be it Lib Dem and Conservative, gave people £12,000 of free pay in one fell swoop. This regulations that you're trying to bring is taking away their free pay. So when you look at these people and they blockade London, they don't want to lose money to blockade London. And I make reference to the Bangladeshi Association that blockaded London last week. They're doing it because their poverty is driving them into the ground. As far as I'm concerned, these people look at this industry and it's something that they believe they can do, and they don't need an A level or a Z level. And we have somebody that attended one of our gatherings, and the gentleman had been working for 35 years in private hire, and he was physically there crying because he felt threatened, because he knew that he could speak English and he could communicate like I am to you today. But for some reason, this test that you're talking about may be pushed back, will come into play. But I say this to you today, we're here in front of you and we're talking about this. But first and foremost, you look at those people that are affected by it. And it is the BAME population of London, and they are the driving force of this private hire industry. That this industry is a technology industry. Your mobile phone, you can book a car anywhere. It's a boon to London. We sit here and you can be picked up in 5–10 minutes outside this building. But what I will say to you is this, you mentioned scrappage. Scrappage is the private hire drivers that will be on the scrap heap if some of these regulations go through. And when I get asked what should they do, and I'm not going to rehearse all of it and I'll just say it now, I say to them, 2020 is not just the day they bring this legislation in. 2020 is there is an election, and 71,000 of our members out there that drive these vehicles, they have a vote. Exercise your vote.